Imagine waking up one morning and the entire internet is gone. No Google, no Instagram, no Netflix, no emails, no Zoom calls, no stock markets. Airports shut down, hospitals lose patient records, ATMs freeze, and billions vanish from financial systems. It sounds impossible, but the scary truth is it could all start with something as simple as a fishing boat dropping its anchor. Because beneath the oceans lies a hidden network holding the entire planet together. A network so delicate and so vital that without it the modern world would collapse in seconds. These are the undersea cables, the invisible arteries of our digital civilization. And here's the part nobody talks about. They are terrifyingly fragile. Imagine something thinner than a garden hose carrying almost all of the world's internet traffic. Glass fibers no thicker than a strand of your hair, transporting trillions of dollars worth of information every second. And yet they rest silently on the ocean floor, completely exposed. No guards, no fences, no shields, no protection, just billions of people's data flowing freely under the waves. Right now, as you're watching this, every text you send, every search you make, every video you stream is traveling through these cables. And if just a handful were cut, entire countries could be digitally erased overnight. This is not a hypothetical. It has already happened. Back in 2008, 2 undersea cables in the Mediterranean Sea were accidentally sliced by an anchor. 70% of Egypt lost internet access in a single day. India's internet speed dropped by 60%. Stock exchanges panicked, international banking slowed, and millions of businesses went offline. And that was just 2 cables. Now imagine what would happen if several were deliberately destroyed. Experts call undersea cables the Achilles heel of the global economy. Because here's the reality. Satellites don't carry the internet. They handle less than 1% of all global data. 99% of everything from Netflix streams to billion-dollar wire transfers travels through cables at the bottom of the ocean. Today there are over 500 active undersea cables stretching across 1.3 million kilometers. If you laid them out in a straight line, they could wrap around the Earth 30 times. But for something so important, they're shockingly vulnerable. Let me put it into perspective. In deep waters, these cables are just lying there on the seafloor like forgotten extension cords. In shallow waters, they're buried under a thin layer of sand, but even that doesn't protect them. Fishing trawlers, anchors, natural disasters, and yes, sabotage, they're all constant threats. Every single year we see more than 200 cable cuts. Most of the time engineers reroute traffic in seconds so you never notice. But sometimes there's no backup. Remember Tonga in 2022. A massive underwater volcanic eruption triggered a tsunami that severed Tonga's only undersea cable. The entire country went offline. No calls, no internet, no online banking, nothing. For 5 weeks Tonga was digitally isolated from the planet. One cable, one country disconnected. Now imagine a scenario where multiple countries lose access at once. This is why intelligence agencies around the world are quietly obsessed with undersea cables. In 2020, NATO raised concerns about Russian submarines spotted hovering suspiciously close to transatlantic cables. Some experts believe they're mapping weak spots. Others fear they could plant devices to intercept data or worse, cut them during a future conflict. And it's not just Russia. The United States, China, and the UK are all racing to secure control over these choke points. Because whoever controls the cables controls the internet. But here's where it gets even crazier. Only a handful of companies own most of this infrastructure. Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft control nearly half of all active cables. Take Google's Grace Hopper cable for example. It connects the US, UK, and Spain, stretching 6,000 kilometers under the Atlantic. It can transmit 17 terabits of data per second per fiber pair. That's enough to stream millions of 4K videos simultaneously without buffering. These tech giants aren't just connecting the planet, they're controlling its arteries. And where there's control, there's power. Because whoever owns the highways decides who gets to drive on them. And while private companies dominate the physical infrastructure, governments are increasingly worried about national security. The US Navy actively monitors key choke points like the Luzon Strait where dozens of cables converge. Why? Because if you want to cripple a country, you don't need bombs. You just need the GPS coordinates of a few critical cables and a pair of bolt cutters. And if you think this sounds like a movie, you're wrong. This is the real battlefield of the 21st century. So why don't we just move everything to satellites? Because physics says no. Even the most advanced satellites today can't handle the amount of data we send every second. Streaming Netflix in 4K, making video calls, running stock trades, downloading games, satellites would choke instantly. Undersea cables remain the fastest, most efficient, and most secure way to move data. But secure does not mean safe. Every day we're adding more cables, more users, and more demand. By 2030, global data consumption is expected to hit over 1 zettabyte per year. That's a 1 followed by 21 zeros. And yet the system carrying all that information is still lying on the ocean floor waiting to be broken. Here's the scariest part. We don't even have a global defense system for these cables. No rapid response teams, no international treaties, no unified protection. If someone sabotages them today, it's up to individual countries and corporations to deal with the chaos. It's like building the entire global economy on a glass bridge and hoping nobody jumps on it. But there's a twist in this story. Scientists have recently discovered that these cables can do more than carry the internet. The same fibers that transmit your emails and TikToks can also detect earthquakes and tsunamis. By sensing tiny vibrations on the ocean floor, these cables could become an early warning system for natural disasters. Imagine a world where your next Netflix stream also helps save thousands of lives. That's the future we're heading toward. But there's one huge question left. As we build faster connections, are we also building a bigger target? Are we laying the foundation of our digital civilization on fragile glass threads that can snap like spaghetti? Or will we innovate fast enough to protect the arteries of the modern world? Because the next time you stream a video, send a message, or transfer money across the planet, you're relying on something smaller than a pencil and older than your grandparents. The real internet isn't floating in the clouds. It's sleeping quietly on the ocean floor, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be attacked. And now that you know the truth, how safe do you really feel? If you want more deep dives into the hidden systems that make our world work, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Because next time we're exposing the secret spy wars happening beneath the ocean.